नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। आपने मेरा पिछला वीडियो ऑन ब्रिगेडियर ओंकार सिंह गोराया's contribution in the Bangladesh Liberation War तो देखे होंगे। You must have seen how as a brigade major he had contributed in the firing of the 78 artillery guns of the 57 Mountain Artillery Brigade and had moved all the way up to Dhaka. The next part of the video actually talks about his experiences in the Indian Army till his retirement and some instances about post-retirement of his own life. So let's welcome Brigadier Onkar Singh Goraya for the final episode on him today.
All the Pakistani PWs were collected in the Dhaka cantonment. Ayub Lines. That area was called Ayub Lines. So we put them there. 16th of December was the surrender, and maybe beginning January or mid-January we came back to Agartala, 72. Now, if the war finished, that doesn't mean that my work as a staff officer was over. The staff officers, those who have got to deal with the, various papers and files, the work was now very heavy. We had to record everything, whatever we had done. First of all, it was the war diary. I had been writing the war diary day to day during the actual war, day to day, minute to minute, in fact. Whatever was happening, every 2 or 3 minutes, some information was coming, I had to jot it down in a thick book called War Diary. And in that you have time, date and time, event, and your remarks. That sort of a thing. Now I got down to rewriting the whole war diary because during war you write in a hurry. Sometimes you get a pen, sometimes you get a pencil, all that I rewrote the whole thing and got it typed. That took quite a bit of time. It runs into 2 volumes. I'll say about 250 pages or so. And I signed every page of it. Okay. That was one work. Thereafter, every unit in formation has got to submit what is called war report. War report after the war as to what my unit did in brief. So that goes up to the army headquarters for a record and archives. That was again written by staff officers and so many other routine things. My commander name was Brigadier Janjit Singh Bawa. Janjit Singh Bawa. We used to call him Jangi Baba. Jangi Baba means fighter type. A Sikh chap, short in height but very intelligent and very sharp. Okay. He told me that it's all right to take part in the war and then enjoy, bask in the warmth of the victory. Let us sit down and analyze each action that we did. So he called for a conference over 3 days. All the officers who were fighting, who were eyes and ears in the front, each officer was told to speak as to what he did from day 1 till the end, and what difficulties he faced and what he did, how did he overcome. How did he call for fire? Because that was the job of the artillery. And whether the fire was effective or not, what was the reaction of the enemy? Did the enemy run away or did they suffer casualties or what? Or did they fire back on you? And that thing. So it was a dissection of every action, every small action. 3 days. And I was taking notes and writing the final conclusions and drawing out lessons. That was one. Likewise, there were so many other things to be done. The units had come back. You write citation. Those who have done well, you write a citation. That was again my job. for the officers and even men, those who have done well, if they deserve any award. So, in fact, immediately after the ceasefire, it was on 16th of December and Christmas falls on 25th. My GOC was a Christian, so he was in a hurry to go back and celebrate Christmas with his
Via
family.
Gonzalez, I guess.
Always. He went away. My commander also took some leave. He went away for 15 or 20 days. I was left alone. In that period, I was writing the citations of all my officers, and they were to be submitted. You know what happened? You might ask me that from my formation, did anybody get any award? No, zero. Why? Because all the officers were missing, the senior officers. So up the chain, everybody has got to put his remarks, his recommendation. Neither my commander was there, nor my GOC was there, and the next senior was corps commander. He was also busy somewhere. Nobody was in a mood, nobody was serious about this job. So all the citations which I wrote, they just stayed in the files. Nobody sent them, nobody recommended, nobody looked at. My own citation also. Anyway, that is matter. One doesn't always look forward to a citation or an award. But all the same, if you get a Chota award, even if mentioned in dispatches, or you get award like
Commendation card.
commendation card, those days this award was not there, commendation was not there. I did get a commendation card later in life during Operation Blue Star when I was a full colonel. Sena Medal. Sena Medal was a fairly big award. Of course, Veer Chakra even bigger. So some of the infantry officers who were fighting alongside us, they got the award because their commanding officers took care and they made sure that their work is also more visible. Colonel's work is not so visible. And there are so many other things, the chain of command and all that. Anyway, back in Agartala, we were very busy doing this sort of stuff. Now, I was in the zone of going to Defence Services Staff College,
Okay. Wellington.
Wellington. Earlier before the war, I my officers of my seniority were preparing and studying for the exam. It's a competitive exam all over the army. I did not get any time to study because I was too busy fighting. Because as a gunner, I was too busy planning for support of various छोटे operations, like nibbling operations, like Mukti Bhai. They were made to attack certain pockets of Bangladesh which were jetting into India, and we had to give the RT support for those. So that sort of operation, the number of operations, I was too busy. I did not get any time to study. So I gave up any hope of appearing for the exam. The exam is usually held in the month of December or January. So I said, if I'm not prepared well, there's no point in appearing. Now, luckily for me, that year General Manik Shah decided to cut out the exam. He said there'll be no exam.
What's that?
Let the boys fight the war with free conscience. Let them not worry about their preparation for the staff college competition. Let them concentrate on the war, on the job at hand. After the war, the army headquarters sent out a message that those officers who wanted to appear but could not appear because the exam was cancelled. Now they will be judged. They will be evaluated on the basis of their record, on the basis of their uh, annual confidential reports, as well as performance on various courses. So I was happy, and ultimately in the month of May 72, the result came out. The result was declared.
Okay.
I was selected without having sat for the exam. And so many others like me, without exam, they were selected for the staff course. So I was very happy. Uh, Thereafter, I continued serving the same headquarters till December 72. And in December 72, I went on 2 months leave. My wife at that time was staying in Jalandhar as a separated family. You see, I had moved to Agartala in the month of April 71. And Agartala was a field area, so you could not keep your families there. I sent her away, and she got some accommodation allotted in Jalandhar cantonment. There's a separate pool of accommodation called separated family accommodation. She got a house there, and she put the children to the school. At that time, my daughter was about 6 years old. My son was 4. Son had just started. No, he was not going to school. Daughter was going to school. Yeah. So went back in December 72. Went back home on 2 months leave and preparing for. Then thereafter we proceeded to Wellington.
Okay.
That is immediately after the war. The whole of 73 I spent in Wellington, practically whole year. Joined the course in January, and the course finished in end of November. That is. Uh, During the course, I did fairly well, not too well, but okay. So, and on the course, uh, depending on your performance, you are recommended to be for staff appointments like Brigade Major of the Infantry or Mountain Brigade or DQ or any other grade 2 appointment. Grade 2 means grade 2 appointments are those appointments which are attainable by a major. So I was recommended to be Brigade Major of an infantry brigade, which is quite good. Those who even better appointment is in the Military Operations Directorate at Army headquarters. That is the topmost appointment for a major, best appointment. So I didn't get that. The second best is Brigade Major. I was posted to Udaipur, and I spent 1 year as BM of the Kanpur Brigade. That brigade was 62 Mountain Brigade. This brigade was way back in 1962,
Okay.
started by Brigadier Hushar Singh. Brigadier Hushar Singh was killed during the action, if you know. He was the person who commanded that brigade. When I took over the documents of that brigade, the top secret documents, and I went through those documents, one of the signals was the famous signal when Pandit Nehru had told the Indian Army that throw the Chinese back. That famous signal in which he told the Indian Army, somebody told him that they have come and they have attacked our troops and the fighting is going on and this thing and that thing. He said, I have told my army to throw them back. Throw them back as if it was a Chinese were a small baby and we would kick them out and they will go.
Right.
What a mistake. That, you know, was a major tragedy for the whole nation and very humiliating. Anyway, that's a different story. So I spent 1 year in Kanpur as Brigade Major. From there, I was posted to back to regiment to command a unit as a major Those days, a major was not, they were major, no unit could be commanded by a major.
Okay.
Many of them traveled. But there were certain units called independent batteries. I was posted to 1842 Independent Light Battery in Faridpur. Light battery in those days
Mm-hmm.
used to consist of about 12 guns.
12 runs.
A regiment has 18 guns. An independent light battery has 12 guns. A normal battery, which is part of a regiment, has 6 guns. So I was commanding,
12
you
guns.
can say, unit of 2 batteries.
Right.
Right? Anything else? Now, by now, I was also in the, I was senior enough to be considered for the next rank. So my promotion board was held in the year 76, I think, 77, 77.
Okay.
I commanded that unit for a little over 2 years, from 75, 76, and up to April 77. But there again, out of, I think, ignorance or some mishap in the army headquarters, I was posted out to artillery school Devlali
Okay.
as a major, as a staff officer, as a grade 2 staff officer.
Mm-hmm.
Because they should have waited for, if they had waited for 10 more months, I would have been approved. In fact, I was approved after 10 months. So I had to move to Devlali only for a very short period, which was, which could have been avoided. But, and secondly, there was another mistake. The appointment to which I was posted required that the person should be gunnery qualified. That means instructor in gunnery, long gunnery staff course, LGSC,
Mm-hmm.
which is done in Devlani. I had not done that. I was not qualified to be posted for that, to
Okay.
that post. But out of ignorance, somebody posted me. Anyway, from there, by the time in about 10 months or 1 year, I got my promotion orders and I was posted back to my original regiment, the very first regiment which I had joined as a second lieutenant.
18 Field Regiment.
That was 18 Field Regiment. Now it was a mountain regiment
Mm-hmm.
and it was now located in Joshimath, in Garhwal Hills. So I joined the regiment over there.
Okay.
I commanded the regiment for 2 years and a few months. In 70, from 78 April till November of November of 70, 68. Wait a minute, 78 till November of 1980. 1980 November I was posted to Calcutta
That's right.
as a lieutenant colonel, as a staff officer in the command headquarters, Fort William. That appointment I held, and during that appointment only, I got promoted to full colonel.
That's what's
And from there, now I put in a request to the army headquarters that most of the time I have been serving in the east. You see, I had a posting in the Ranchi. I had two postings in Binaguri, North Bengal, then Calcutta, and then Sikkim,
Sikkim.
Agartala, Silchar, Bangladesh, and never in JNK and never in Punjab. Punjab, only one posting in Faridkot.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked for a posting to home state. So they gave me a posting at to Amritsar as a full colonel, colonel administration of the local division, which is 15 division. And it was in that appointment that I got involved with the Operation Blue Star, 1984 June, about which I have written a book again.
Mm-hmm.
If you, get hold of that book. The title is Operation Blue Star and After.
Right.
Okay. They could have, yes, waited, but they unnecessarily posted me to RB headquarters for 1 year,
That's right.
year and 3 months. They could have waited. If they had waited for another 1 year, my board was my board was due, and I was likely to make it, and I would have gone straight to command a brigade. But they posted me to Army headquarters in the Weapons and Equipment Directorate, WE, Weapons and Equipment Directorate.
Okay.
That's a big directorate which deals with the acquisition of various types of weapons and equipment for the army. Now it has got different sections. A section for the armored corps, a section for the artillery, infantry, and so many other things. I was in charge of the section for artillery, artillery. And it was in that capacity as director. You see, when you head that section, any section in army headquarters, your designation is a director. Director, because in the army headquarters in Delhi, generally in Delhi in the government, central government, you have to equate the various appointments with the civilian bureaucrats.
Okay. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा.
So a civilian bureaucrat, a rank of a director, I was holding that as a full colonel. So full colonels those days were directors. Later on, the bureaucrats managed to dilute the ranks of the armed forces, and these days a director is has to be a brigadier. That means the designation has been brought down. That means a bureaucrat, a civilian IAS officer who is a director is now equivalent to a brigadier. In my time, it was equivalent to a full colonel. And before my time, earlier, it was equivalent to a lieutenant colonel. So they have been gradually and very surreptitiously diluting the rank structure of the armed forces. This is the badmashi of the bureaucrats. Anyway, as director of WE 5, the section was number 5. WE, Weapons and Equipment 5. One of the major duties, achievement of my section was to sign to to finalize the acquisition of Bofors gun.
Go for sir. Okay.
Bofors gun, we had been agitating, we had been telling the government that we need a better gun. We need a gun with a longer range, 155 millimeters caliber, and long range about 30 kilometers those days. Now, of course, 155 gun has, I mean, our own various guns have got range as much as 50 kilometers. Those days, maximum was 30, 39, 39 with special type of ammunition. Okay, so we were agitating, always pushing the government, give us a gun, but they were dragging their feet. Either because of finances, they could not spare the money, but I think it was more so because they were looking for an opportunity to make money.
Okay.
You know the scandal. Whosoever was at the head of the government, Prime Minister Mrs. Gandhi, when she died, Rajiv Gandhi, then there was a defense minister. There was no defense minister earlier. Rajiv Gandhi himself took over, and then Arun Singh. So whatever it is, later on, as per the scam, as per the when the scam broke out, it was alleged that the deal was set, or the deal, mean the underhand deal, was arranged by no less a person than Mrs. Gandhi.
Okay.
and the Prime Minister or the President of Sweden. Uh, what was his name? He was also killed, shot. I forget the name. Anyway, now when she died, somewhere Rajiv Gandhi must have known that this deal has to be finalized and money has to be, kickback has to be taken by the party. Now, mind you, in those days, the total kickback of Bofors allegedly was 64 crores. 64 crores. In today's value, it's a pittance. It's chicken, very small. But in those days, it was considered to be a big amount. So that was a kickback which was arranged between the politicians and the Bofors company. It was during my term that the Bofors deal was finalized. And there's a separate story I don't want to commit. How it was done, how the deal was changed. Actually, the army headquarters, our recommendation was that we wanted French gun, number one. There were four guns in the race, four different guns which were evaluated. And we put French gun as number one, Beaufort gun as number two. There was another gun, British, FH-77, number three. And there was another gun, Austrian gun, Alpine. Company's name was Alpine. That was number four. So we wanted, number one was French gun. But somehow the government didn't want to give us Silicon French gun because it is alleged that the deal was made with the Swedish gun. French probably were not ready to give you the kickback. So General Sundarji was a chief. Probably his arm was twisted. He was told by the politician that either you take Bofors, either Bofors or no gun. You say no to Bofors, then there is no gun. So he probably, under being forced into accepting Bofors, he said yes. And then when he said yes, then the whole thing came down to my level. The deputy chief one day called me to his office and he told me to bring the file containing the comparative evaluation of all the guns and show him the comparative chart. Now, mind you, deputy chief was an infantryman. He did not know the technicalities of the artillery guns, whereas I was the dealing person. He said, show me what is the recommendation of the artillery of your sector. I showed him that gun is number one. He said, can you change it to number two and bring Bofors as number one? I said, no sir, I'm too small a fly. How can I do it? Then generals like Sundarji himself, Sundarji was a major general those days who carried out the trials. And he did the evaluation and he put his signature. And he said French gun is number one. How can I change it? He says the same Sundarji is now the chief. And he wants it changed. What is the problem? I said, if you say so, I will change it. I make a new chart. He said, go, make a new chart. I made a new chart, did some hera-fairy, in the various parameters of evaluation, and brought the Beaufort gun to number one and French gun to number two. And then I signed, and General Somala said, don't worry. Tomorrow if there is an inquiry, I will also put my signatures on the same paper below your signatures. You won't be alone. He covered me. That is a good thing among the Fauji officers, that they look after you. They look after their subordinates. They don't fire the gun from their shoulders.
Right.
They put their own shoulder forward. So that was the character of General Sobana. He said, "You won't be alone. Tomorrow, if there is a inquiry, I'm with you. I'll stand in front of you." I said, "Okay, sir. That's all right." So that is how Beaufort's gun came to India. Next, I should tell you about my last appointment. I was last but one appointment. I was commanding sub area in Jorhat. Sub area means equivalent of a brigade, but it's a peacetime formation. Mainly, the responsibility is logistics of the whole of Northeast,
Okay.
to supply various posts, far-flung posts on the northern borders, Arunachal, uh, Tirap division, Nagaland, Manipur, all that area. Some of those posts are maintained by airdropping, and I had a few units of the ASC. They're called air maintenance units, three
Air
of them.
defense.
Air maintenance.
Air maintenance. Okay.
By means of those units, they were under my command. So you load up, the Air Force give you the flying effort, the aircraft, mainly AN-32 and helicopters. So you load up those units used to procure the stuff. Stuff means rations, POL, petrol and oil and lubricants, and defense stores, and any other stuff that you require. So they procure from various sources, load up, and the aircraft is given by the Air Force. You load up and go and drop. I used to go on a few dropping sorties just to experience as to what are the hazards involved in going to forward areas and the thick jungles and high mountains and snow-covered peaks and all that. So when you do the dropping, what are the difficulties? What are the hazards that the crew, the flying crew, and also the dropping crew, the boys who kick out the stones from the aircraft, how do they do it? I experienced that. It's quite a tough job. And those boys, they get an extra allowance for that job. Anyway, I was commanding that sub area. One day, I get a call from the Corps Commander at Tezpur. Corps Commander at Tezpur was Lieutenant General Jamil Mahmood, a short man, very jovial person. And incidentally, he was the senior subaltern in my regiment when I joined the very first days as a second lieutenant when I joined 18th Field Regiment at Hyderabad. He was my immediate boss. He was two paper, that means full lieutenant. I was second lieutenant. And immediately he received me and he loved me, and he, he looked after me in the regiment and very close to me, very fond of me.
Is he still alive, sir?
No, that's what I'm coming to. On the very first day, I traveled from Devlali to Hyderabad, and I took a train from Manmad, a B2 gauge train. That time Hyderabad was connected from Manmad to Hyderabad by a B2 gauge train,
Okay.
and the terminal station was called Kachiguda. There are many gudas in Hyderabad. If you Have you ever been to that place, Sikandrabad, Hyderabad?
I've been to Hyderabad, not Secunderabad.
Okay, there are a few. Well, it's a twin town. There are a few areas called Guda. Guda means Mahalla. So Kache Guda was the place. Over there, Jamil was there. I was in uniform, of course. I was reporting my first unit, got down with my baggage, and those days on your uniform there was no nameplate. This nameplate business came much later. So he he was going up and down on the platform. He passed by me, I saluted, and he saluted back, but ignored me and went away. Second time again he passed by me. Again I saluted. He again went away. Then he came back. Then he came back.
Okay.
I stopped. I said, "Sir, are you looking for somebody?" He said, "Yes. One second lieutenant is supposed to report to my regiment today. I have come to receive you." I said, "I am the one." He says, "Oh bloody hell! I was looking for a cookie boy. Oh, I thought Goraya. You know, the cookies names are Apaya, Subaya,
Ah,
like so. You spell my name as Y Goraya, but he was reading as Goraya.
Brigadier.
Gorayas are if I was Goraya, then I would have been Kurki. He says, "You are a Khalsa." I said, "Sorry, sir, I'm a Khalsa, but this is what I am. And I am posted to your regiment." He said, "Welcome." So he shook hands and brought me to the regiment. Okay. So he said, "Today the regiment, all the officers are out on training and they have left me so that I could receive you. The mess is also closed. So you will have to eat your lunch at my house."
Okay.
So I said, "Sir, it's my privilege." He took me to his house. He was married, mind you, as his lieutenant. Just about 2 months earlier, he had got married, and his wife's name is Dil Ras. You know, Muslim ladies have beautiful names, and otherwise also beautiful. Dil Ras had prepared a beautiful lunch, and out of all the dishes, I remember a dish called Begara Bagan. बेगारा बैंगन ये हैदराबाद की बड़ी मशहूर डिश है हैदराबाद बेंगलोर साउथ इंडिया की मशहूर you see बैंगन is a useless vegetable otherwise but if you know how to prepare the बैंगन then you can make a beautiful dish out of it so that is called begara बैंगन मसालेदार you know a little uh, uh, with lemon and all that you know very I remember that so Dilras gave me a beautiful lunch. I had the lunch. So that was the association with Jamil Mahmood. He was my senior subaltern. Now, later in life, we had been meeting off and on at various places. Now he had risen to the rank of Lieutenant General and he was commanding Corps Tezpur. Now
Okay.
Tezpur, you know where it is? North of Brahmaputra. And one of the divisions under him was a two division at Dinjan, a place called Dinjan.
Okay.
That is south of Brahmaputra. And if you go from Tezpur to Dinjan by road, you have to pass through Jorhat. Jorhat is halfway. So whenever he went to Dinjan to visit his division, he used to stop with me at Tezpur, at Jorhat. He would call me. His typical style of calling me was Gori.
Okay.
He called me Gori. Ha! Short for. So he used to say, "Oh Gori, I'm coming. I'll have lunch with you." अपने आप को invite कर लेता. I didn't have to say, "Okay, please have lunch with me." He said, "I'll have lunch with you." अपने आप. He's a very, very lovable person. So anyway, now this is September of 1962, 92. September of 91, sorry,
Thank you.
91. Now he was approved to be Army Commander, mind you, GOC and C of Eastern Command, Calcutta. So, as Army Commander, you are allowed to have four staff officers of your choice. You can pick up from anywhere. You name a person, and the army headquarters will post them. One is a brigadier, one is a lieutenant colonel, and one is a full colonel, and one is a captain. Captain is brigadier's designation is the uh, deputy MS, military secretary.
Military secretary.
Ha. So he asked me, Gori, oh, they are making me army commander. It's a different matter whether I deserve or don't. He was a very humble person. But if I become army commander, will you come with as my deputy MS? I
Okay.
said, sir, very glad to accept that. Why not? Who would like to be with you? Knowing him, he's a very dear person. Okay, okay. So he invited me to be his deputy MS. So he just had to tell the army headquarters on telephone and they posted me. So my last appointment was deputy MS in Calcutta with Jamil Manoj. Now the story is another story, very interesting story. As deputy MS, my job was to deal with the personnel matter, that is HR, human resources, promotion, uh, confidential reports, leave, and this thing of senior officers, uh, especially the sensitive portion of the confidential reports. You see, you can't trust that sort of a thing with anybody. So Jamil had full trust in.
Mhm.
That's why I used to handle all those papers for him. So he told me that look, I'll be traveling a lot. Eastern Command is a huge command. I don't want you to waste your time traveling with me. There is another full colonel called MA, military attaché, MA. That person's name was Colonel Muslim chap, Colonel Ihsan, abhi yaad aa jayega. And he happened to be Dilras's first cousin, Mrs. Jamil's first cousin. So he picked him up as his MA. I was deputy MS. He says, I don't want you to travel with me whenever I go, except whenever I want you, especially when I go to army headquarters for a conference on MS matters, I will take you. Now, on one particular trip, the army commander always traveled to Bhutan. You know, in Bhutan, the
Bhutan.
Indian Army had a military training team, IMTRAT, Indian Military Training Team in Ha, place called Ha, HA, Ha Zone. So whenever I go there, I want you to come with me because I want you to see Bhutan. It was not for his benefit, it was for my benefit that he wanted, so you can see Bhutan before you retire. Because at that time, by now, I had been told by Army headquarters that no more promotion. Red flag. So what happened? When that Bhutan trip was planned, I happened to be away to Delhi for some other job on duty. In my absence, you see the procedure for going to Bhutan is that whenever the army commander or any Indian officer, Indian armed forces person wants to go to Bhutan or is going to Bhutan on duty or otherwise, their names are approved by the Bhutan government. It's a protocol, formality. So the naturally Jamil's name had to go, Colonel MA's name, and so many other people, 8 or 9 people, and Mrs. Jamil also went. So their names were sent for approval by the Bhutan government. My name was not sent. Colonel, his name, MA, was a Muslim chap. So he sent his name to accompany the army commander. There was one Colonel Darshan Singh, two pilots, one Havaldar, and blah blah. So many people. When I came back from duty from Delhi, so the Colonel MA told me that, sir, the names for the Bhutan party, Bhutan trip have been sent. Oh, then I reminded. I said, oh, Army Commander wanted me to go. He says, but I have sent my name in your place. Do you want me to change it? I said, hold on, let me ask the Army Commander. If he is particular that I must come, then we will change it, otherwise let it be. I went to Jamil. I said, sir, this is what has happened. My name is not gone. You wanted me to come. Are you very particular that I should come? He said, no, no, don't worry. जो हो गया सो हो गया. I will get a separate permission for you later.
Okay.
My aim is only to give you an opportunity to travel through Bhutan and just see, as a pleasure trip. I said, ठीक है. So what happened? This trip went to Bhutan, and on the way back, the day they were coming back, the aircraft crashed.
Okay.
Everybody died. And as it happened, on that day again, I had gone to army headquarters on on duty. As I was going through the corridors of army headquarters, one brigadier came running. He saw me in the corridor, in the veranda. He said, "Sir, what are you doing here?" "Oh, surprised to see you." I said, "Why?" He said, "Have you heard?" This was 7th of May, 1972. Was it 72 or 73? 73. 7th of May. I said, "What happened?" He says, "Your army commander has crashed. And I'm surprised that you are here. I thought you were also with him." I said, "I happen to be here. But how did it happen?" So anyway, I learned that this is luck, destiny. I should have been there, and
You could have been there.
Colonel Aslam, his name was Aslam. Aslam, again I'm forgetting. Anyway, so he died in my place. I just escaped. And after 2 days, we received the dead bodies and did the all the funeral and everything. Very painful. Thereafter, I had just about one year left. 1 year uh, of no, 8 months, 10 months of service left. And I was bound to be posted out because somebody knew some new army commander will come. He will like to have a deputy MS of his choice, and I had to be shunted out. So I put up my papers. मेरा दिल खराब हो गया. Now Jamil is no more. He was my friend. He was my, you know, bada bhai, elder brother. So I didn't feel like serving. So I put up my papers and came home. I This happened in May, and in August I was back home. But life has been, it was very tough. Tough in the sense, I came back to Panchkula, where I am staying now. No home, two children, not married. Son was already, he had found his partner, but we told him to hold on because my daughter was elder, and I told him that let her, let me find a match for her, and after her marriage, you can wait till then. He agreed. Now, getting a daughter married, you know how it is in India. You need money, you need, firstly, you got to find a suitable match, and you don't even have a home. And the worst thing was, what was the pension like? 4,500 rupees per month. Those days, The, the army officers were very poor. My maximum salary on the day of my retirement, the last pay slip was, it said 11,000 rupees total, including all the allowances and everything. And the pension was 4,500 because there's a thing called commutation. You commute a little bit of the pension and give away part of the monthly pension. You see, pension is normally 50% of the last pay drawn. Last pay drawn was 11,000, so my pension should have been 5,500. But taking out the commutation value 1,400, it was about 4,000. Now, what is 4,000? Can you build a house? Can you get a daughter married? So it was very difficult. But all the same, whatever it is, he managed. By now, my son had got his commission. He was already a captain, and we took a joint loan. His son, you know, uh, with 4,500, 4,000 income per month, you apply for a loan to a bank. They will give you about 2 lakh maximum loan those days. These days, banks are begging you to take loan. But those days, you had to beg. Those days, you had to beg the bank for a loan. Now they are coming after you, begging you. Anyway, I got a loan of three lakhs, and plus my total saving, terminal benefits, gratuity, and provident fund, and this thing and that thing, all together six and a half lakhs. And all that I had was a plot in Panchkula. So somehow we built a house. I had to look for a job, but there was no worthwhile job. I tried this and that, but nothing satisfactory. Anyway, somehow, gradually we pulled through. And in 2003, one of my nephews, my sister's, my cousin sister's son, who had established himself in a foreign country, Austria, in jewelry business. He was a businessman now and doing well. He gave me a proposal. He told me, Mama ji, would you like to come abroad? I said, yes, why not? Because I needed to augment my legal pension. And I also wanted to see the world, to go abroad and see the civilized world. So I said, yes. He said, I have bought a restaurant in a country called Latvia. Latvia is one of the countries which became independent from USSR. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Georgia, all those. So he had bought a restaurant. So it was an Indian restaurant. He didn't know how to run it, who will run it, because he had his own business in Salzburg, Austria. He said, you please go there and manage. I said, yes. So I took charge of that. So I ran that restaurant for about 2 years. I picked up the rope how to manage a restaurant. Mind you, it was a multi cuisine, Indian, Thai, and Chinese. Three types of three types of cuisine. I enjoyed that, but there were certain difficulties. After 2 years, I suggested to my nephew to sell it. He agreed and we sold it and came back. Now we are okay. The pension is sufficient enough. My daughter is married, my son is married. My son, in fact, is retired. He became a brigadier. He is retired from the army. Now he is joined ITBP on deputation. He's posted at Itanagar. And he's got a son. He's got a son who's getting married in November. My daughter married an Air Force officer. Incidentally, my son, we Faujis don't believe in caste system. My daughter-in-law is from a Hindu family. We used to be Sikhs, but I am an atheist, as I told you. I'm not a Sikh, I'm not a Hindu, I'm not anything. So my son selected a girl from Hindu family, daughter of a brigadier. He is also living in Panchkula, very, very fine family. We are very friendly. My daughter, I selected a match for her. He was serving in the Air Force, fighter pilot. Later on, in 2004, he resigned from the Air Force and joined Air India as a pilot. He served for many years in various Air India, then that Kingfisher and all these, he's tried, which is a airline which is doing well in India. I forget the name. Indigo. Yeah, he retired from Indigo. And right now he is again employed by Indigo as an instructor, as a teacher, and for the pilots. Now they have two children. Daughter, she's already done her MBBS, and she was to sit for this NEET TG, NEET exam, NEET, which was supposed to be held on 23rd of June, postponed now 11th of August. So this poor girl is studying and studying, preparing for NEET. She's MBBS, she wants to do post graduation. Her younger brother is a computer engineer, hoping to go abroad, already working in India online. So life is happy, no problem.
I hope you like this entire 3 video series on Brigadier Onkar Singh Goraya और उनके contributions और उनके services जो भारत और बांग्लादेश दोनों देशों के लिए उन्होंने दिया है. And I hope you like more videos like this that I will be uploading on my channel regarding the experiences of the Indian Armed Forces in the 1971 war. Stay tuned and please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for listening.